What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple Pill Podcast, episode 93, the number one show in the world for dating, right here out of Dallas, Texas. Please make sure to like that video on y'all's way in, please. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Y'all see every time we got a live show coming up. Go follow us on all the other platforms. Click the links down below in the link tree if you want to show some support, open up a second browser. You can also check us out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you want to listen that way. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Oh, and go follow our new live stream, Purple Pill Pod Live, so that we can grow that other channel. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it, ladies. I just want to know what's y'all's name, your age, what education level, what you do for work, and your relationship status. So we'll start with you on the end.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Raina. I'm 26. Libra season's coming up though, so I'm about to be 27. What was the other question? Huh? What was the other question?
Job.
Job. I work for multiple different companies doing brand ambassador work and marketing.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
You need to
It's
teach
a lot of
me.
fun.
Yeah. What about your relationship status?
I am single at the moment.
Single, a single ready to mingle?
Always.
Always.
City ball, city ball.
So we like to say that there's like a few different kinds of singles sometimes. Like there's like single and like I'm literally not talking to anybody, and then there's like single, but I have like a guy that I'm kind of smashing, and then there's like single, but I'm talking to a bunch of guys. Like, which kind of single are you? Are you like fully cut off from everybody single? Or are you like kind of talking to some guys single? Or are you like kind of sleeping with a guy single? Like what kind of single?
Open to opportunities. I'm not. I don't want to disclose anything more than that.
Okay. Well, guys, y'all know what that means. We already know. What's your name though? Your education level, your relationship status, and yeah, you wait, name, education level. Oh, work. Yeah.
I'm Sarah. I'm 25. I'm a community manager for a marketing agency, and I am in a relationship.
Nice. How long you been in your relationship?
4 months, I would say, about.
So it's nice and fresh. Where'd y'all meet?
We met at a bar.
Which one?
High fives.
Damn, high fives is where it's at, guys. If you're in Dallas, I guess that's where you gotta go meet girls at because that's where the single girls are at. Do you go to high fives with her sometimes?
I've never been there.
You never been there?
I feel like you'd like it.
We should go.
Yeah.
Totally go.
We should go. Well, yeah, now,
Nice.
yeah. I mean, I just told all the single people to go there. What made you, because like a lot of the girls that come on the show, like they're like trying to get into relationships, or even the guys that watch the show, they're like trying to figure out how to get a good girl or like how to get into a relationship. What made this guy special? Like, what kind of made him stand out? Where you're like, I want to be in a relationship with this. Like, I want something more than just a fling or something. I want something serious.
Because he really sees me.
He really sees you.
Yeah, in a way
Aw.
that like no one has.
Aww, I wish we had like a soundboard drop for that one. I don't think we got one, but he sees you in a really special way. How old is he?
He is 30.
30? Oh, that's a little old, don't you think? I'm just messing with you. I don't think that's that bad.
He,
Because you
we-
said you're 26, right?
I'm 25.
Or 25.
It feels like we're both like 21 though.
It doesn't feel like he's older at all.
No.
That's dope. But for just to like really help, like I really like to give a lot of value and like help people out. Other than that, like he made you feel that way. Is there anything else that was just kind of special because like more tangible so people can like try to replicate it?
Yeah, consistency was
Consistency.
there from the beginning.
Like texting a lot, is that what you mean by consistency, or just like he never like stopped, like ghosted you or acted weird or anything? Like you mean like that?
We went on a date every week
Every
since we
week.
met.
That's dope. Okay. And then how long did it take before it became official?
About 5 or 6 weeks.
5 or 6 weeks. Okay. And then who made it official?
He assumed that we always were. I started the conversation.
Bro, why does all guys think that? Am I wrong? Like, is that not true? Like, guys usually just like, what? I thought we were together, bro. Like, come on. Why do I gotta make it official? Like, why do I gotta say we're boyfriend girlfriend? It's like obviously I'm smashing you. Like, this is pretty obvious, right? But I guess there is guys that will lead you on though, and they actually don't want relationships, so it is kind of confusing there a little bit. Um, so he did ask, or he just assumed after a while. Did you make him like ask you? Were you like, you gotta ask me to be your girlfriend?
No, I just brought it up one day.
My girlfriend made me ask her. Like, she was like, "Yo, are you gonna fucking ask?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess so. If you're gonna make me."
And then she was like,
No.
Yeah, basically, bro. So whenever it comes to like being single, do you think that, or so guys, we're gonna talk about, is it better to be in a relationship today, or is it better to be single today? So we'll start with you though on this, since you're the single one. Do you think it's better to be single, or do you think it's better to be in a relationship? What's the pros to being single, you would say?
Pros, you don't have to. I feel like in
Talk a
rela-
little closer if you can.
Oop,
You're
sorry.
good. You're good.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Pros, I feel like when you're in a relationship, it's always like, hey, is this okay? Or like, hey, I'm gonna do this or whatever. Is this cool with you? Or like,
That's a pro. That's a good thing.
no, I feel
Oh,
like
that's a con? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, you asked for pros
Yeah.
first. My bad.
You're good.
Um,
What's a good thing you think?
Good thing? The companionship,
The companionship.
for sure.
Man, you just thinking negative right now. You instantly were like, I need to say a con, man. I hate this part about relationships, huh?
Yeah, I got out of something icky recently, so. That's why.
Okay. And they were controlling or something?
No, I got blindsided. So
Like he was with another girl?
apparently, I guess, or just like.
Apparently, I guess.
I don't know.
Come on, give me the deets. Like, what happened?
Oh man, I guess he was messing around, and we had a conversation about exclusivity.
So, what was the conversation about exclusivity?
Well, what's your opinion? Let me ask you. What's your opinion on what exclusivity means?
I mean, I'm gonna sleep with you and nobody else. So, like, what did he say? Is that what he said?
Man, I hate to like be on blast with this guy.
It's okay. Nobody knows him.
names.
Yeah,
Okay,
nobody knows his
cool.
name.
Like just he basically told me that whenever he was sober, he was loyal, and whenever he wasn't, he couldn't tell me if he was. So
Okay.
so that tells you everything you need to know.
So just when he's not sober, he can't be loyal. Okay.
I guess so, yeah.
All right. Well, so I mean, what's your opinion on that? Like, what do you think about like being in a situationship like that, or like where the guy can't be fuck, I can't even think of the word. Like, can't be loyal to you.
It's shitty.
Have you been in a situation just like what she's talking about?
Probably. It probably would have been like back in college or something. Actually, I have been in one similar situation. I don't know. It was where like we dated for a really brief time and I was kind of blindsided. Yeah. And I was really into them and they like didn't feel the same. He could have been not exclusive with me.
You just don't know.
Right, because yeah, and I think a lot of the time you don't, especially if you're not
He doesn't want you to know.
maybe, and if you don't establish where you stand.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of potential for messing around.
Yeah, if you never sit there and establish it. So would you say this is common? Like what we just talked about, like what you kind of went through and what you kind of maybe gone through in the past. Is that common, or a lot of women going through that, you think? Like just based off your friend group and talking to women and stuff, do you think that's a common thing?
Are you asking me?
Both of y'all, yeah.
Oh, I feel like it's more common than it used to be.
Okay.
Like
used to be as in like for our parents, or used to be like 5-10 years ago?
maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
You think it's way worse now than it was
Oh,
just
yeah,
just 5
100%.
years ago?
Mhm.
That's crazy. What do you think? Do you think the same?
Definitely.
Do you think that's a common thing that a lot of women are having to deal with?
I would say yes, but I'm not gonna. I feel like there could be fault on both sides there. I think
Because the girls could speak up.
I think that women waste a lot of time with men who aren't worth it. And I feel like some of the time it's to a point where like you have to like move along. If you know what you want and it's not aligning with what is happening, and I think that some people, not you, at all.
I know. I know.
I
Generally
wasn't talking about
speaking.
you at all.
I know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of generalities because it's a podcast, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But in general, that happens a lot.
I would say because I think yeah.
But like you
I
said,
mean,
but
especially
like women do it to themselves.
sometimes, and I also think it's our age too. I think that a lot of guys 25, like early mid 20s aren't really looking for a relationship. So
So like what I like to say is that the reason why women aren't the reason why a woman gets into that position and then they get stuck in it is because they don't want to ruin the fantasy. So like if you ask certain questions, you destroy the fantasy. Like it's really nice and feels really good, and then you start sitting there. You can have fun. You can keep having fun, or you can ask this guy, "Are we serious? What is this? What do you do for work?" You can go into details and stuff, and then start realizing, "Oh, this guy isn't the right guy for me." But then you destroy the fantasy. He's Prince right now. Like, don't destroy the Prince fantasy that's going on. I would say that's one of the main reasons why people don't want to ask those questions. I agree with you. What do y'all think is like, because this would mean that there's a lot of people like sleeping around, kind of. Um, what do y'all think is like the average body count for like a man right now? Like the average body. We'll do women after, but what do you think the average body count is for a guy today?
what age? Like, what is the parameters?
We'll just say all across, like a guy from from 18 all the way up to 70 years old. What's the average across the board for men?
I've no
That's
idea.
really tough because it's like that's like a really
Because you're like, dude,
because
50-year-olds
broad.
must have
That's
at least
really broad.
100,
No,
right?
yeah, they got more years on us.
Yeah.
And it depends. It's hugely like some people are very religious too, and so some people will have like 1 or 2, and so I don't really.
Yeah, the demographic.
You gotta
it's
try to
different for
average it though.
everyone.
You gotta try to average it.
I don't know.
So like till
Give us
edge
Let's say this. So y'all are both roughly, let's say, average 25 years of age.
Yeah,
What would you
what's
say
the
the
average for
average
your age?
average guy that's 25 years old?
I won't be able to tell you all the exact stat, but at least knowing the whole thing is kind of cool to go back to for that. So yeah, what do you think the average guy your age, his body count?
I'm gonna be nice and say 8.
I'm gonna say 30.
30?
God damn.
But like why? Is there like a
Right.
reason why? Like why 30? Is that based off of like you've asked some guys and they're like, yeah, I've slept with like 30-year-olds or so? Is there like is this evidence driven or is it just like you're
I don't.
What's the
I don't
tea?
ask things I don't want to know.
just would it really matter? Like would it piss you off if like he had like a really bad body count?
Piss me off? No. Disappointed? Maybe.
A little disgusted.
I think there's give and take with everything, and you're not gonna get all your boxes ticked in one person. And
Yeah, that's one of those where you're not.
it's not. I would say it's probably not a make or break for me.
What about girls though? So we said guys, you said like what 8, and then you said like 30. What do you think a girl's average body count for your age? And this is, I mean, based this off like your own peer group, like your own friends and like what you see, like what do you think it is?
I'm gonna go lower and say 5. I said 8 for guys.
I'm gonna go 12.
You're gonna go 12.
I'm being so nice.
I'm being so nice. Well, I mean, honestly, you're actually pretty accurate. Like, I think guys is like 7 and women is like 6 or something or the other way around. Women's like 7 and guys like 6 or something like that. What do y'all think? In y'all's age bracket, say 18 to 30, how many women do you think are sexually active this year versus men being sexually active this year?
I wouldn't know.
Like, would you say 100% of women from 18 to 30 are sexually active, or 90% or 80%? Like, how many of them do you think are like out there getting it?
Maybe 70.
Maybe
That was what
70.
I was gonna say.
About 30% of women just not having sex, not in relationships, nothing.
Yeah.
They're just staying like celibate, kind of. What do you think it is?
That's what I was gonna guess.
About 30 for women. What do y'all think it is for guys?
The other way.
What do you mean the other way? 70?
Yeah.
You think 70% of guys are not having sex? From
No.
18
No,
to 30?
are.
Or 70% of guys are and 30% of guys aren't. So the same. So technically 30% of men aren't having sex and 30% of women aren't having sex.
I would say for men it's 90 is my guess.
90 are having sex, so 10% are. So about 30% of women aren't, 10% of men aren't. Y'all would both kind of like agree with that?
I feel like that's fair.
Okay. I mean, y'all are just close, but backwards. So like, it's actually where men are actually at like 33% and women are at like 16%. So like, and it's actually, you know, a lot of guys are actually virgins out here today. Like 18 to 30 bracket, there's a shit ton of virgin dudes. I think I saw a study the other day where it was like, it was a ridiculous amount of guys that are virgins by the age of like 22 or 23. Like it's like 20% or something crazy right now. And so when we look at it, you know, like why is that? Like why do y'all think that women, you know, have that 16% and guys are at 33 right now? Like what makes you think it is? How could 1/3 of men not be getting sex right now, you think?
A lot of priests? I don't know.
A lot of priests? What?
Like they're being priests? I don't
Oh,
know.
they're being like good
So
old
they're
holy
being
men.
celibate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're being celibate.
I don't. Yeah.
Why do you think guys are at that number?
I don't know. It's tough now. I mean, you both are in relationships, but whenever you weren't, I don't know how long you've been with your girl, but
Been with her for about
whenever
3 years.
so like before her, like do you remember how like tough it was to
So here's how it usually breaks down is like there's people who it's tough for and there's people that's not.
right?
And I wasn't one of the ones that it was tough for. So I didn't have issues, but there are a majority of men that do have it hard.
Yeah.
And that's why they fall into that 33% bracket where they don't get any sex at all.
Mhm.
Um, you know, whenever it comes to these like these numbers and stuff like that, do you think it matters in relationships? Like, do y'all think that, you know, like your boyfriend's body count versus your body count, like, does it matter? Do you think that you could have a high one, he could have a low one, or the other way around, and it's not going to mess with the relationship at all? Or do you think body count like affects the relationship?
I don't think it affects it at all. In my experience, it might. Um,
Would you be with one of those virgin dudes or like one of those 33% guys that doesn't usually get sex?
that's a good point. I mean,
Got him!
I don't know.
Got him!
So it
Ye-
kind of matters a little bit.
I guess if you're I guess if you're like going to the extreme, which is like virgin, then potentially, yeah.
Okay. No, I mean it's okay. I mean nobody's judging you over here. I'm just asking. We're trying to teach people on the internet the truth of the world, okay? Like how people really feel around here. But like what about you? Like do you think that that matters, you know, like if she has a high one or he has a low one or he has a high one and she has a low one, like does it matter?
I don't think it matters, but
You
I
know,
think it also varies on the person and
it,
their opinions of it. But for myself, I don't care.
so like you personally like say like you met a guy and like y'all are about to get married and he's like, "Hey, just FYI, I got to be honest with you, I was a porn star in the past." And I got like a 500 body count. Like, it's not going to ruin you walking down the aisle or anything.
I think disclosing that so close to a wedding might, but
Like, but well, let's say it's a lower number. It's like 100. Would it still
Okay.
be bad?
I don't
It's
think
not that bad. You don't think?
because he's going to be with me for the rest of his
Okay.
life, right? I mean, or at least you think.
What if he was actually a gay porn star, and he did gay porn, and he had over 100 bodies, and they were all dudes? Would you still feel that same way before the wedding?
I think I'd be shocked.
Would you still get married to him?
If I loved him, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
What about you? Would you feel the same way of like if you were about to marry a guy and you found out y'all had been together for 4 years, it's been fucking perfect, and then he's like, you know what, babe, I cannot get married without telling you the truth about this. I was in game porn. I used to suck penis. I'm sorry. I only did it for 2 years for money, and I swear I haven't slept with a man ever since. But I just need you to know this. How would it make you
Why
feel?
are you gay?
I don't think I could do it. No.
You couldn't do it?
No, I don't think I could.
Why?
Because I feel like this scenario doesn't fully make sense because everything being perfect can't be possible if you don't know that someone's gay or if you don't
Well,
know their sexuality.
here's an easy way to also put it. If it was the other way around, and like I told her, if it was 100 women how would you feel about it? If he was a porn star and he had sex with 100 women, and he told you, "Look, babe, I did porn a couple years ago. It was all women." Would you marry him then?
No, I wouldn't marry someone who can't be honest with me.
So that's what would like bother you the most.
Yes.
Okay.
So I
I
got
second
something.
that. I second that. Because, like, yeah.
Because like what? I'll let you finish.
No, because that's valid. That's valid reasoning.
That's valid reasoning.
Hmm.
What were you gonna say, Donnie?
Because one thing that I guess in the middle actually said, I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay, perfect. So Sarah, you had said there's this scenario seems a little bit too perfect. You know, like you can't go through a perfect relationship and then not know that somebody has that many bodies. However, as we talked about in the first opening segment, like people wear these rose-colored glasses a lot, right? And then they don't want to ask the right questions, or they overlook certain flags that they clearly can see, but they have those rose-colored glasses, so they try to overlook them because they want to live in this fantasy. And this goes, sadly enough, this is I think is equal with men and women, you know, that actually do that. So we
Yeah,
can't
yeah, it's
say it's
both
too
sides.
crazy because both sides still do it, right?
Yeah. And the reason why I bring that up is because, so like, one of my favorite, a lot of the part of this show, ladies, is like, I go back to evolutionary psychology books. I've just got finished reading like a dozen of them. Like, yesterday, I finished my last book that I was trying to finish. And whenever you get into evolutionary psychology and you start reading all these studies and stuff like that, one of my favorite studies that's ever been done was they wanted to figure out, you know, how men and women see cheating and if it's the same or if it's different. And it was really cool because they took gay people and they took trans people and they took straight people and both men and women, and they found that across the board in general, like obviously there's exceptions, but in general, the women always asked, "Do you love her?" And the men always asked, even the gay men, even the trans men, always asked, "Did you fuck him?" So, and the reason why is because whenever we look at evolutionary psychology in our history, women have always wanted to know if he's falling for an affair, if he's falling in love with another person, because that emotional investment that you made for the last 2 3 years, whatever, of your youth or whatever you did, or making kids with him or whatever, that could be all thrown away, and he could run off with another woman and go have another family with her if he has an affair. So y'all really care about, do you love her? Like, are you falling in love with, do you want to spend more time with them? That's detrimental to y'all's future. Whereas for me as a man, we always have asked, did you fuck him? Because we always care about, is the baby mine? That's for all of history. Before 50 years ago, we couldn't test if the baby was ours or not. So we're really scared about, if you had sex with this guy, is that kid going to come out and it's not going to be my kid? And then I'm going to be cucked for 18 years, paying for another child or something. So like, that's why, like, we both have two completely different views whenever it comes to some of these things. And it all goes back to just evolutionary psychology and like how we were for hundreds of thousands of years. So like, the reason why I asked that question is because I've asked that question a lot on the panel. And honestly, a lot of women would be like, I'm not okay with him being with gay dudes in the past, but I'm okay with him being with a lot of women. And the reason why usually is because if a guy was gay in the past, that means that just like how you can lose your guy to a woman and lose your emotional investment, imagine the other 50% of the population can also take your dude. And they can also take your investment from him too, over after y'all get married or whatever. And so like, it's just like, it's a precautionary thing. It's like, you know what? That's super risky. You have a very high chance of running off and destroying my emotional attachment. So because of that, you're not safe for me to be able to be with because you're gay. Whereas the other way around, it's not the same. Like, guys love gay women. Like, guys love a girl that's like willing to have other girls with them. It's like a double standard. I gotta ask, what's a double standard that y'all don't like in society today? I would say there's a lot of them. Is there any that, like, just when you think of a double standard, you're like, that's a fucking ridiculous one. I hate that one. You just got in a relationship, so you should be able to think of a couple, maybe.
I mean, it does bother me that some people are bothered or triggered when like women wear whatever they want. We're both in the EDM scene, and like
Oh yeah, it's the most
I
that.
feel I think that people should like wear whatever they want. I guess like clothing and covering up, kind of like that concept has always, I guess, like
Yeah,
bothered me.
Mhm.
that's a good one. I kind of want to dig back on that a little bit. So when it comes to that, like, because like I said, I was a part of, like, I was telling guys, I was telling them earlier, like, I was a huge part of, like, the scene, back in the day. And yeah, I would go to raves with my girl, and she'd be on, in the bikini, barely any clothes on. I'd fucking have my shirt off too. Like, we'd all be, out there like that. It's very open thing. Like, everybody's all very open and stuff. Um, so like I've totally been there, but whenever it comes to those things, would you say that, like, do we live in like a really, 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 really safe world in your opinion? Like, or do you feel like we live in like a dangerous world where like bad things can happen to anybody? Like, you can go down the street and get shot or beat up. Like, do you think it's a safe place, or more safe, or more like dangerous?
Dangerous.
More dangerous. What do you think?
I feel like, as of recently, probably more dangerous than normal. But I guess it's also what you focus on is what you're gonna see.
So a big feminist topic is usually that, because I go to the feminist subreddits all the time. I'm really big on there. I like to debate, and like one of the big things they like to talk about is this definitely went viral last week when that black woman got hit in the face with a brick. And everybody was just like, it was all over Twitter, and it was like, why didn't any guys stand up? There was a bunch of guys around that could have like stood up for her and stuff like that. It was a huge debate. It was a really good one. What do y'all think about, the whole debate of a woman walking down the street, and y'all should be able to safely be able to walk around the street without anything bad happening? Like, do y'all have an opinion on that debate, or are you the type where I'm not going to go walk down a street, dark at night? Or do you really think that that's unfair that you can't do that?
I think it's unfair, but I almost don't waste energy thinking about that because that's life currently. And
You're
it's
just
not
based in reality, and you understand that that's just reality. What do you think?
Probably about the same.
Probably about the same.
But I don't go anywhere without protection, so.
No, see, that's great. And like, so I wanted to swing it all back because, like, we're talking about the clothes thing. So like, I don't know if y'all know this, but there's 7 other species of hominoids that we killed off for Homo sapiens to be here today. We destroyed them all. Neanderthals, all of them. We fucked them up. And we're a very dangerous species. Men or Homo sapiens are extremely dangerous species. So like, my big thing that I preach and I talk about all the time is the world's messed up today because we don't have men as protectors anymore. Like, men are meant to protect women. Like, that's what our power is physical power, and it's to protect women. Just like how y'all have immense emotional power to love and to care for communities and support. Like, that's something that a lot of, like, we may be bigger than you, but y'all have like something that's way more special, that's like the opposite of us, more in an emotional regard. And so we have to protect women. And I would say, like, I agree with y'all that, like, say like I go to a rave with my girlfriend, I would let her wear all that stuff because I'm there to protect her. But it's dangerous whenever you don't have somebody to protect you. Like, I think that wearing all that stuff would be bad if you're not going with people to protect you. Like, luckily, with I know how player is and how like good groups are, so y'all are all there protecting each other and watching over each other and shit. But that's the only beef that I think a lot of guys might have, is just that they want to make sure that their girl is protected. So like, say your relationship, or I'll even compare my relationship. I honestly wouldn't want my girl going to the club without me and wearing some really hot outfit. And the reason why is because I'm not there to protect her and make sure that nobody does anything, tries to sexually assault her or do anything wrong. Um, I would say a lot of guys kind of have that feeling. It's called mate guarding. And I think mate guarding is, or I don't think this, I know mate guarding is a thing that families do. It's not even like a relationship thing. Like, I have a daughter, a 3-year-old. And even for a daughter, you mate guard, because what happens if you get raped at like 8 years old or 9 years old? It can ruin your life. Literally can ruin your life. So we have to protect women in all ways and shapes and forms. Um, when it comes to the club thing, how do y'all feel about that? Are y'all usually the type where like you like to die on that hill, where like if you went out, would you be mad at your boyfriend if he was like, hey, I don't like you going out by yourself, and then you're also wearing that? Like, is that something that you would want to kind of like argue about? Or is that something that you'd be like, you know what, that's fine, whatever you say? Like, how do you feel about that?
I'm never by myself. I'm always with my friends, and it's never been a topic of conversation about what I wear.
Yeah. With any of your boyfriends too in your past, right?
Yeah,
Oh, it has been, or it hasn't been?
it hasn't been.
It hasn't been. Yeah, because I'm guessing because of your scene, you've only been with dudes that are pretty fucking like cool and open about it, because pretty stupid to be in that scene and then be like that. What about you though? Like, have you been in a relationship where a guy complained about anything like that?
No.
Not at all.
And if there ever is a time, that's a flag.
That's whenever
I'm
you're
out.
instantly done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna do what makes me happy regardless, and he should too.
He
and
should.
she should be okay. He like should be okay with it.
What about
Myself, I feel like.
what about like girls trips? Like, what if he's uncomfortable about you going on a girls trip to like Cancun? Like, is that something that you would be pushed back on? You'd be like, no, I'm gonna go on my girls trip. It's not a big deal.
Like would I push, like would I think that's a red flag?
Well, no, but like,
Or,
yeah,
like, what do
yeah.
you
I guess
mean?
like, would you want to push back on it? Like, if you had a boyfriend and he was like, hey, baby, I really don't want you to go on that girls trip. You know, like it makes me uncomfortable. Would you just be like, no, I'm going. Like, this is I
I
want
feel
to.
like having a deeper conversation as to why he's concerned would be the first thing I'd want to do.
But instantly, like your first reaction is, yeah, like you want to go though.
Yeah. I mean, especially if it's pre-planned, there's money involved, so like I'm probably gonna like go, especially if it's planned with my girls.
Yeah. What do you think? What's for the vacation thing? Same
yeah,
thing.
I was gonna answer the exact same
The
way.
exact same way. What about okay? So Instagram, you know, because y'all are both, or I know you like to do shuffle stuff. You're like a shuffle influencer and stuff, and you shuffle too, and all that. Do you think that a guy, if he was like, hey babe, I want you to make your Instagram private, and can you take down like any pictures that like have your ass in or anything like that? It just makes me uncomfortable because like I want to be in a serious relationship with you. Is that something that you would be like, you know, argue about, or you would just be like, yeah, that's fine, whatever you want. We'll ask you then this time.
I feel like that's my account and I can do what I want.
Of course, yeah. What do you think?
I would open that up for discussion because I also second that. That veers into the controlling territory for me.
For sure.
It's controlling, yeah. So, ladies, whenever you've been in a relationship, who's like the leader and like the one making the rules in the relationship usually? Like in y'all's relationships personally, like is it usually you and like you set the boundaries? Because you usually the way it works is one person adores the other. There's one person adoring the other one more, and that's the one who's creating the frame, is the one that's being adored, the one who's kind of setting the rules. In y'all's relationships, who's it usually like setting the rules more? Would you say it's you, or is it usually in the guy's rules?
It's been both, I would say.
You've
for
done both
me.
kinds. Like you've
I
been in a
would say
relationship
the
with it
same.
like one, and then you've been in one where it was like the opposite.
I would say yes.
Which one is your favorite?
I like making the rules.
You like making the rules. What about for you? Have you been in both?
In both.
And then which one's your favorite, you think?
I like when a guy can tell me what he wants and likes, but I also want to be able to share my side and like come to an agreement. So I don't know. That's really tough.
That's a hard one?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Okay.
How about if he tells you that he doesn't want you going out to the bar?
That's why I was asking those three different things. Yeah, see. Okay,
I
so
don't
so
know.
what this usually comes down to is like it's all framing of the relationship. So like y'all have the power, like you said you like it usually more in your frame. And I would argue that honestly that is the best bet for you for the long run. Because that guy's probably less likely to, if we look back at Dr. David Buss's books and his studies that he did in the his book's called the Evolution of Desire. He does a lot of studies showing that and proof that it's actually better for a woman to choose that guy, because when you end up in that relationship, he's never going to run away. He's not going to knock you up and then run. He's not going to probably cheat. He's probably like a good normal guy basically. Whereas the guys in the other position, they have the power position, so they're able to do more. They can run game on you or do whatever. Like they just have the power, you know. I mean, personally, I would argue the best relationship for people is the man being the leader. Because I mean, if I asked y'all right now, do y'all want a guy that's taller than you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want a guy that's faster than you? Stronger than you?
Yeah.
Do you want
I
so
need
so
someone
so
to
you want
protect
a
me.
so you want a leader?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like really we want like leaders. Like I think all women want a leader, but most people can't get them. Like you can't lock it down. Like I'm sure y'all have experienced a guy that you tried to lock down and you just couldn't. He was just a little too alpha, I guess. So like when it comes to those type of situations though, that's why I was asking about, you know, the club, the girls trip, the Instagram stuff, because I would argue when it's in the guy's frame, he's the one setting the boundaries. And he's saying, hey, look, I would love to be in a relationship with you, but you got to private the Instagram. No more girls trips. I'm not comfortable with you doing girls nights out every Wednesday. Sorry. And like, if you really want to be with that guy because he's that guy and and you're chasing him and he's a leader and stuff like that, then you're going to go into his boundaries. Now, you don't have to do that. Obviously, I would say that's a small percentage of men. That's only like top 10, 20% of men. You could choose the regular 80% guys and have the life like you're having right now. And I would say it's probably a little safer. Now that you've learned this, about the framing and stuff like that, what do you want next? Do you want one like hers, where it's like more she's in the lead, or where the guy's in the lead?
I think I still want the guy in the lead.
You still want the guy in the lead? So guys who are leaders, they usually have a lot to lose because maybe they have a lot of money, or they have a business, or they have a peer group of men that look up to them. And sometimes your woman is a reflection of you. I can actually tell just by talking to a woman that's in a relationship like you, or any woman that's ever been on my panels, and I can tell just by how they act how good they are with their man, or how awesome their man is, because that, like, it's a direct reflection of how much they want to respect him. So because of that, the Instagram, the private and all that stuff, that's why those guys will complain about those things, is because they have a lot to lose. And say they have a peer group of men that look up to them. It's like, oh, your girl was out at the club the other night twerking and doing all this stuff. And it's like, that makes him look bad if he's a high status man. So he would never choose a girl that's doing stuff like that, because it makes him look, it reflects on him badly. So I would say it's fine to do all, like, have the relationship in y'all's frame. It's fine. Y'all can have so much fun and do so much shit. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of, like, I would honestly say it comes down to body count. And this sounds fucked up, but it does come down to body count. Because a woman who has a 20 or 30 or 40 body count, she's going to have a way harder time having a pair bonding with that guy that's like the more normal beta guys, I would say, because he's not keeping her, moving like those other guys probably, keeping her her emotions, like riled up and shit like that. So it just depends what type of girl you are. I think the lower body count you keep, the easier it is to settle for the normal guy. So these girls that can't settle for shit, it's because they keep Chad chasing, as I call it. They keep going for the best dudes over. Why are you looking at her like that? I'm just fucking with you.
No, I want to like watch your reaction.
Yeah.
So I'm just smiling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like whenever
Grinning.
it comes to choosing men, though, would you say that you can get both? Like, do you think that you can find a beta guy, but he has like certain alpha features? Like he maybe he's really attractive or something like that. Or do you think that you could find like a dude who's a really good leader and a really good alpha, but he kind of, he's a sweetheart too at the same time? Do you think that you can find a mixture of the two, or do you feel like you can categorize these men after we've had this conversation? You're like, yeah, these guys act like this every time, and these guys act like this every time. Or do you think it's like a mixture in the middle?
Probably a mixture.
You think it's
and
a
I
mixture?
feel like I could find either.
You could find either one?
Yeah, because there's all sorts of different types of men. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's so many choices out here. What I like to say is that usually what happens is like you get hurt by the alpha dude, and then you go to like the beta guy, and then you get hurt, and then this beta guy is so annoying, and he's such a simp, and he's crying, and he's fucking like trying to control. He's trying to like stop you from doing things and stuff like that. And it's like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna go back up to this dude, and then you go back up to the alpha guy. But like, and then you go up here, and then you just keep bouncing back and forth. But the thing is, if you keep doing that, you might run into one that's like right in the middle.
yeah.
Like you might hit an alpha who's kind of beta-ish, or you might hit a beta guy who like has he's really tall or something, And you're like, okay, this like works out. I'm vibing with this. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think a vibe is? What do you think a vibe is?
They match
your energy.
Yeah,
You
match
think
your
you-
energy.
And like, since y'all are in the rave world, would you say a vibe is like a really big deal in a relationship? Like when you're talking to a guy, do you think that you can like add context to what a vibe is? Like, can you describe it? Is there any way that you can like define what a vibe is? Is that possible?
I would say it's the energy someone puts out, almost how they hold themselves, their aura.
Okay. What do you
That's what I
think?
would say.
No, that's cute. I like that.
Do y'all think?
Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say someone that you can have all sorts of different conversations with, and you don't feel weird, and like sometimes like silence you're comfortable with them, or you can be goofy, giggly, and like whatever with. That's a vibe for me.
I got a question then.
Yeah, what's
I'll
up?
question with that.
Mm-hmm.
Given that you say someone that feels comfortable with being honest, going back to the same analogy, do you think it's a vibe still if a man has to hold back his tongue if he does not feel okay with you going out to bars and doing things that you like to consider fun?
No, I feel like he should be able to tell me anything.
He should be able to be
open.
honest with you.
Mhm. And I'd be honest back.
So like I would say in like most of these type of debates, like in a relationship, like say I had a girlfriend and say it wasn't in my frame. It's in her frame. It's I've been with her for 6 months. We live together or something, and she's going out with her friends, and then I try to say, hey, I don't like you doing that anymore. Doesn't that look really bad because I should have asserted that boundary when we first got together?
Are you asking if it
Yeah,
looks
yeah, I'm
bad
asking like
on
doesn't
you?
yeah. Because why like if that was something that bothered me, shouldn't I have said it right at the start?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Mhm.
So the problem is that a lot of guys might feel a certain way, but they're so scared to say it
Mhm.
that they end up in the relationship 6 months or a year later, and then they try to assert that boundary, and they don't have the steel mans or the debate topics that or the tactics that I have to be able to win those type of conversations with a girl. They don't even know what to say. And the thing is, a lot of the times, whenever a guy stands up for any of these things, dude, you get canceled like crazy. This podcast, everything that I do, if I didn't own businesses, I could have never done this. I would have lost my job over the things that I talk about on this show. There's a guy named God, I can't say his name. It's like Sartoshi something. He was an Asian dude up in Canada. He was a professor, and all he did was a study on dating apps and saw that black men were the most desired, Asian men were the least desired, black women were the least desired, Asian women were the most desired, and he got fired from his job. Literally lost his tenure at the college just because he did a study on a dating app. That's it. So you got to understand a lot of guys are scared to talk about these type of things or talk about how we really feel or about like what makes us uncomfortable because you'll get called insecure, you'll get hit with the shaming language like the sign language, shame, insult, guilt. And once you get hit with all those things, you can't win it as a guy. So a lot of, like, y'all got to understand, we set up relationships based off of how we react to things. And a lot of women react today to things in a very emotional and outburstive way or like very defensive, to where the point where a guy might love you a lot and he doesn't even have the balls to tell you the truth because he knows he's going to lose the relationship. He might lose the sex that he's getting, which is very special to him because maybe it's hard for him to even get that. Like he knows that you're going to see him a different way and be like, oh, he's insecure now, or he's a little beta bitch because he thinks this way, or, like, guys have so much against them, to be honest. And like, I would love for us to all be honest. I'm a very honest guy, super honest. But I would say most guys get punished every time they're honest, and that's what keeps them from ever being honest. And though I've been punished for it too. I have 4 sisters, and I don't think any of them want to talk to me anymore because of the topics I talk about sometimes. And so, like, you can get canceled by your family too, your job, your family. Shit, if me and my girlfriend broke up tomorrow, there's a high chance it'd be hard for me to ever get another relationship again, just because I talk about these things that I'm being honest about it. Because look, I have a beautiful girlfriend back at home. Like, I'm talking gorgeous, like stunning. Okay, I don't have to talk to y'all like I want to smash or like I'm trying to like swindle y'all into like liking me or anything like that. I can be honest with y'all, like a brother kind of right now. And I can tell you how men really are. And we are insecure about these things. We are. And it's because of mate guarding, like I was saying. Like we want to make sure that our girl is really our girl. And if a guy has a lot of status or a lot of value, he has to protect that. It's basically insurance for those guys. They're gonna make sure that the girl's a good girl because otherwise they can fuck up their future or fuck up what they're building. But yeah, I think it's great if you go to a normal guy because he has nothing to lose. He's not going to sit there and hold any over your head. I want to ask though, do you want a 50-50 relationship, or do you want a relationship where it's like a little bit different? Like, do you want egalitarian relationship or a complementarian relationship? Complementarianism just means that like you're each good at your own things, kind of. It's like a Christian way of saying it.
What's the other one?
Egalitarian, like
What does that
equal,
mean?
like
Oh,
egalitarian, like
like
50-50, like
okay.
everything's 50-50 in the relationship.
My immediate answer was 100, 100.
Yeah,
in
I
my
mean,
head.
well, you could say that too. You could say that too, but yeah, like,
Um,
but you know what I mean. Like if y'all have a house together, like you're splitting the rent. Like when y'all go get groceries, you're splitting, like that type of thing. Would you rather like, because that's what everybody's preaching today. Like most the internet world and especially feminism and stuff is saying everything should be equal. Like, do y'all want an equal household too?
I think. Sorry if I'm cutting you off, Sarah, but
Oh, shouldn't.
I think that if this is the table of a relationship, right? Like the legs of the table, I'm gonna have the legs are like what I bring to the table. It's building the table. But if someone's gonna come in, they're gonna have their own legs that are gonna like fit perfectly with mine. So 50-50, I guess, would be the ideal answer. But like 100-100 because I want us both to have our own separate tables that can just kind of collide together.
Would you split bills though? Because if you're both like if you're saying that y'all are both kind of equal on the table level, that means that y'all both are equally yoked, kind of like you both make 100K a year or something. So why can't y'all split everything then?
Or joint. It would be joint. So yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so yeah, basically split though.
Mhm.
Okay, what do you think?
I guess so. I don't really. These are things that I don't really think about.
Well, if it's only if you're gonna get married one day, you do need to think about it. You know, like
Yeah.
or like if you plan on living with the guy at any point, you know, you got to talk about bills. You got to talk about how you're gonna split stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you want to do it? Do you want to do 50-50?
And then the other one was like, but one person pays for everything, or what were you saying? with the other one?
Complementarianism just means that one person's good at something and one person's good at it. I'll give you an example from my relationship. I'm good at making money, so I pay for most of the stuff. My girl is really good at other things like cooking and cleaning and taking care of our dogs and cats and doing the homey stuff. Like that's what she does. She crochets a lot. Like that's what she likes to do. So that's like we're complementary to each other because I'm very good at something and she's very good at what she does. I suck at a lot of those things. I can't cook for shit. So it's just we're perfect balance to each other. What would you want, something more like that, or would you like something where it's just equal across the board? Like we're both gonna work 50 hours a week. We're both gonna, help out. When we have kids, we're both gonna change the same amount of diapers. We're both, it can either be super equal across the board, and you're always like trying to not fight for that, but always trying to make it equal, or where one person kind of does more than the other. You're not more than the other, but one person does one thing, one person does another things.
I guess I would sway more towards equal.
Equal. And like whenever it comes to y'all being with a guy, what do you want his income to be compared to yours? Do you want it to be the same? Does it need to be more? Does that matter? Can he make less than you? What do you think?
It hasn't mattered to me in the past. Now, I don't have a specific number, but they need to have a consistent job.
But is that because that bit you in the ass in the past?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No.
No? Okay, just making sure. Because there's a lot of women that have taken care of guys and they're like, this fucking is horrible. I'm never doing this again. And they learn their lesson and they're like, that was the biggest mistake ever. So, I mean, it's okay if you've done it before because I feel like every girl's done that before. What about you?
I have friends that have done that before, and I feel bad for them.
They got finessed.
They got finesse.
And have you ever done that? Have you ever done that?
No.
You've never done that.
What do you,
Like been in a
taking
situation
care-
where like you took care of the guy, like it was in your frame, and
He's a brokey.
yeah, he's a brokey.
No.
Have y'all ever been with a guy who moved into your place or you moved into their place?
I've never lived with
Never
someone.
lived with somebody? Never lived with anybody? Do you plan on living with the guy before you, like, if you get married, would you want to live with them before you get married or not until you get married?
Probably trial run it
Trial
if
run?
I were to get married. Yeah.
What would you do for that? Would you trial run it too?
I agree. You need to see how they live.
You don't know someone until you live with them.
That's fully
No,
true.
I 1,000% agree with that. No, I think it's actually really weird that people don't do it until they get married. You're just asking for like, what if, I don't know? There's so much that can happen when you move in with somebody. The cool thing is that you actually learn a lot from other people when you move in with them because they have a lot of shit they learned from their family growing up, and then you like come together and combine them, and you're like, holy shit, this is so cool. I never knew that. Whenever it comes to picking a guy, in the future for you, because you're the single one here, do you think that you're gonna pick a guy that is in the middle, like we were talking about, like he's gonna have like alpha and beta tendencies, or are you gonna try to find like a beta guy that's not gonna argue with? Because it sounds like you're the type where you might like you want to stand on some of these things, like the Instagram and like the girls trips and stuff like that. Like, would you rather that just be an easy fight and just like have a guy that's just gonna let you kind of do it all, like with worry free, without the argument, without the debating all the time? Or would you rather be with a dude that's gonna debate you about it all the time?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. I feel like if conversations are had and they're had right, then I wouldn't care either way, if that makes sense. Because communicating about whatever feelings that we're upset about or whatever, if that gets hashed out, then
But like I was saying, a lot of guys are really scared to say this stuff. And like, do you think that you make a guy comfortable enough to want to be honest with you?
yeah, fully.
like about these type of things too that they're super insecure about that every girl before has like made them feel uncomfortable about?
Yeah, definitely, because I have a lot of guy friends that tell me everything, and past relationships, same thing. Like them telling me everything.
Do they tell you guys don't like girls going out to the
Wait,
club?
say that again.
Do they tell you? Do your guy friends tell you that guys don't like girls going out to the club?
No,
So much.
they never say that.
Yeah. So they're not being honest with you then.
Yeah. So actually,
I
that's
feel
actually a
like-
good point.
I feel like if I've never like had a guy friend tell me that, because if they're girls going out, they're going out with her.
Yeah. Well, so
So-
here's a good one. I want to ask. So if you have a lot of guy friends, what do you think about a guy? You get a boyfriend. He's like, I don't like you hanging out with your guy friends all the time. How
That's
do you
an
feel about?
insecurity
He's
issue.
insecure, right?
A little bit.
Even though he's trying to protect the relationship.
I understand that. I do. But if the roles were reversed and you have a lot of girlfriends, how would you feel?
Actually, that's a great question because you know what? The main thing I teach, I do a mentorship other than the podcast. And the whole point of my mentorship is I teach how to be friends with women because I have I have tons of friends that are women, tons of them, tons. Okay. That's like my whole life, actually. It's just nothing but women friends. And guess what? I don't talk to any of them in my relationship. I might hit them up for some promo that we're doing or some modeling thing that we're doing or I promote for a club. So sometimes I might tell them to come to the club or something because I'm promoting for it. But I don't ever try to hang out with any of my girlfriends at all. I have a girlfriend, and to respect my relationship, I would never go and hang out with any of them. I would never talk to them either or anything like that. It's actually just something that it's all cope, honestly, because the thing is those guys that are around you, they 100%, why would they want you to be in a relationship with a dude like that? And then if you hang out with those guys all the time, like y'all have a relationship where y'all are always together, they're invested in you just like how your new boyfriend wants to be invested in you. That's super uncomfortable, especially for a guy who's sitting there trying to devote himself to you and knowing that there's all these other guys around you. And the thing is, men lie. Men will sit there and tell you, I'm just your friend, I don't want to smash, I don't want anything like that. And the whole time they would totally smash if they got the opportunity to do it. Like they totally would. Guys are called a beta orbiters, where they just orbit around you and just wait until the moment comes. And guys know this because we're a guy. Like we know how guys think. So we hate it whenever our girl has a bunch of guy friends. Like I would actually say it's one of the biggest red flags ever when a girl says, I have a bunch of guy friends or something like that. Like I would
Damn.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I want to bring it up. But honestly, I'm just telling you this now, so you can have a bunch of guy friends, but I can't express enough that you should never lead with that foot or never even say that thing.
Don't
You know,
disclose it.
I would not even disclose it. And the thing is, also though, you should be prepared to drop those guys for your man if you really care about him, because he's actually going to be there for the long run, and those guys aren't.
I
I
will
understand
say
that, but before you say that, before I know what you're gonna say, my friends, I have good friends. I have really good guy friends. Like they're you have your perspective of what you're saying, and I get that, and I know that point of view. Oh, too well.
Mhm.
But I don't think that way about my guy friends.
Like I
They're
said, it's
my
about
brothers.
it's about respecting your boyfriend. It's about respecting him. Like I told you, it makes him look bad. If you respect him, then you wouldn't even want to be around other men. Like I get it. I totally get it. I know tons of girls just like you. Like I have a lot of friends that are girls and they have lots of guy friends. Like I get it. But all I'm saying is that if you really want to make your boyfriend feel comfortable, you can do that. But you don't have to do that for every guy. A lot of guys won't give a shit. The
Hey,
80% man won't care.
What were you-
Also,
Go ahead.
you might feel like you don't think about your friends that way, that there would never be a chance of y'all being romantically involved or anything like that. But it's not necessarily the same for them. Guys, they think like physically most of the time. They're always it's a huge saying that guys always think with their dicks, and that's facts, you know. But yeah, with their guy friends, it's not necessarily this. They won't necessarily think the same way that you think. You might think like there's no chance it'll happen, but it's not necessarily the same for them.
Yeah,
So you have to think it.
we like to look at each other as like the same, like the sexes sometimes. It's called Blake Slateism, which basically means that like when you're born, you're a blank slate and like the environment creates who you are. So like men and women are the same and our environment creates us. And that's something that's in psychology and it's so fucked up because it's just not true at all. It's the opposite. Men have 17 times the testosterone of women. You have like probably 12 mLs, I have like 500-600. So it's like a ridiculous amount, and testosterone is directly tied to our ability to be horny. So like if you're around a bunch of dudes, their testosterone is literally spiked based around if they're around hot women or not. And it's just not dangerous. It's just dangerous. There's a reason why in Islam they make women wear burqas and shit, because they understand men so well that they're like, oh, we need to like put this stuff on her so they don't even fucking get horny or anything around her. Like that's how bad it is, but that's how like accurate those religions also are. What were you gonna say though about the subject?
I was just gonna say that I do think that's true, and in my what you were saying is true much of the time. And in my experience, I've had guy friends who liked me. I didn't know that at the time. I end up finding out later when they do something or whatever. Like, but
That's creepy.
To Raina's point, like, I will say that I think there are few rare instances where you can have a or a, let's say,
Shout out
like
to
a
my
good
boys.
friend that's of the other gender. All of my best friends are women. So that's more to your point of, I think platonic relationships can be tricky. So that's also kind of to your point. But I also know those friends that you're talking about. So I think it's rare, but it can happen. But I mean, I think that men a lot of the time, like in my experience, they didn't want to be my friend. They wanted more. Or the guy doesn't, they don't want to be friends. It's like they're wanting something else.
But they're acting like they're being a friend. They're being nice and
Right.
shit.
And I've heard about that. Like they'll hang around I've heard that from like a TikTok about how a guy will wait around forever if he thinks he has even the slightest chance
Yeah.
of getting
I think
with
it was
you.
Matt
And that's how
Rice.
physical
Yeah,
guys. That's how
that's
crazy
right.
they are.
You
Yeah.
showed me that.
Yeah, guys are beta orbiters. Go up to that super chat really quick, bro. $5 from Embark on Brilliance Podcast. Thank you, bro. Name one positive and red flag on your last ex, and why didn't you choose him? Name one positive and a red flag from your ex. One good thing about your ex and one
And
bad
one
thing about him.
red flag. Can I stew on that for a second? Let me think.
Yeah, you go ahead if you can. One good thing and one bad thing about an ex.
Good thing was he was extremely emotionally intelligent and mature.
Hmm.
And I wasn't used to that. Bad thing was I had my rosy colored glasses on and I ignored some inconsistencies. And that was the person who didn't end up feeling the same way that I
Wait.
felt about that.
This is crazy. You said he had high emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Why? What made him emotional intelligent? Because he never like flipped or he never acted irrational? Did he stay very stoic all the time?
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you would say that's why?
Why was he emotionally intelligent?
I mean, did he cry to you one time? Like, what makes you think he was emotionally? It was because he wasn't ever emotional, correct? Like, he never acted erratic like other men and shit
No.
like that?
He cried.
He cried.
I'd seen him cry once. I think in that situation, potentially he has sisters and he had a lot of girlfriends, so that could have helped.
Okay. No, I was curious about something else. What do you think, though? The one red flag and one green flag for that guy, for your ex?
So I'm gonna say red flag and then green. Red, probably that I was blindsided and crap, I lost my train of thought and had all that time to think.
I do it all
I'll
the
tell
time.
you the red flag.
Oh my gosh. There might be a few red flags. That I didn't see the red flags. That's a flag. Because of the rosy colored glasses, like you said. What else?
Do you remember the green flag?
Yes, green flag. Funny, had a good time.
I want to know how you could have locked that. Like, what could you have done differently to lock that guy down? like to make him more loyal or to make him take you more serious? Like, did you think anything afterwards and you're like, man, if I would have done this, if I would have done that, probably could have been serious or could have been better?
I think I did my fair share of communicating, and communication on his part might have been lost in translation, and or he didn't understand what we were talking about, maybe,
Or he just didn't care?
or he didn't care at all, and I just didn't see that and didn't know that.
Yeah, most guys that like that, they don't care, honestly. What about you? Would you say that there's like whenever it comes to relationship? Well, no, let me just ask something completely different, actually.
Here, let's go to the second.
Oh,
chat.
there was another one. Yeah, let me just read it. If they're such good guys, why did you friend zone them instead of pursuing a relationship with one of them? Hey, good. That's a good question.
That's to you.
Yeah.
To me, if
Yeah.
they're such good guys, why do you friends with them?
Put the mic closer if you could.
Talking about like my guy friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
History, knowing too much.
Like
there's
turn offs or
not necessarily, just like the compatibility, like I guess compatibility.
So like your guy friends, like y'all all go to like raids and stuff together? Like is
Yeah.
it that type of group?
Yes, and like also like share a lot of the same values.
So like could you be honest with me about how they look? Because I used to be friends with a lot of these type of guys.
Can I get my phone?
Well, I mean, just describe them. You know, like are they
I have-
handsome?
I have
Do
beautiful
they?
friends. All
Yes.
of my friends are beautiful.
So
girls
that-
and guys.
So like the guys, like they got go to the gym, like they're nice looking dudes and stuff.
Buff and good looking.
Buff and good looking. And you think that that's healthy for your relationship, for you to be with a guy and have guy friends that are good looking, and you go and do activities with them when your boyfriend isn't around?
I feel like if someone's going to give me full trust and we're going to be in a healthy relationship, then yeah, fully.
Fully? Okay. But like
Because he should be cool with my friends and I'm going to be cool with his friends, and that's that.
Okay, no, good point. So here, whenever it comes to like Instagram, you know,
Instagram got your bitch.
yeah, it sounds like y'all would kind of like sometimes die on the hill of the Instagram thing. Would you say that what is a woman's dating strategy? Like what's y'all's strategy as women? Like whenever you're trying to find a date, like what do you do? What's your strategy?
I
Other than using a dating app.
Y'all
don't
got
try.
riz?
I think
You don't try?
no. I think things find you when you're not looking.
Oh, yeah, really? That's really convenient from a woman's point of view.
That don't make no sense.
Oh no, because it is. It's very true. Because a woman's dating strategy is you just go places. You just advertise yourself, and men come to you. It's not your strategy to go to them. My girl came to me, and sometimes women do pursue men, but for the most part, in general, women just advertise themselves. You go to the club, you stand in front of that hot guy section, whatever it is, and he's gonna come up to you. The guys will just come up to you. You don't have to go up to them. That's never been your strategy. The guys pursue women, right?
It's not my strategy. Have you ever done that?
I feel like it could go both ways. I will say.
I'm just saying in general. We're speaking in general for most women, majority of women. How is it?
What was your question?
Do y'all advertise or do you pursue? What's your dating strategy?
Like which one would I rather have? I would rather have someone pursue me, but I mean,
Because that's the average thing, right? When you go to a club, do you just start going up to a bunch of dudes?
no, but I'm not denying that I haven't done that before.
Yeah, but like in general though, would you say in general most women, are they going and pursuing men when they go to a club, or do they go and advertise themselves and just stand somewhere?
Probably just stand. But I feel like that can go both ways because some guys are
I'm just talking
there
about
and
in
some
general. I'm
girls.
talking about the majority. The
Then,
majority of
yes.
women, all the girls you know, everything.
Yeah.
Y'all usually advertise.
Sure.
Okay. And guys are usually the pursuer. Obviously, there's exceptions where some guys are pussies and can't go up to a girl for that their life depended on it.
Right.
But we're saying in general, guys are the pursuer and women are the pursued. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if we translate that to other dating worlds, like say Instagram, because it is the biggest dating app in the world today. Everybody has an Instagram. Everybody hooks up or meets through Instagram usually today. It's usually the first thing given up before a phone number. So Instagram is basically a dating app. All right. So what are women doing on Instagram? You have an open profile. You post pictures. You get comments. You get likes. You get DMs. Okay. So that's people coming to you because you're just advertising. Okay. Now, if a guy and you're in a relationship with him, what's his strategy? To pursue, right? If y'all were in a relationship with a guy and it was really good, like say you caught your boyfriend messaging a bunch of girls, liking their pictures, commenting. One girl even asked for him to send $10 and he sent it to her. How would that make you feel?
Not great, obviously.
You wouldn't like that? Would you want to break up with him for like doing all that, for liking girls' pictures and commenting? And I mean, these are like OnlyFans models and shit. Like he's going all out. He's following all these fucking bikini models and stuff. How would that make you feel?
It's not ideal.
It's not ideal. Yeah. How would that make you feel?
I agree, but I feel like we've also had this conversation in the like rave community and or like world that is a controversy. So it's, I feel like as long as you're finding someone that's like you have that stability with, shouldn't be an issue. But obviously it hurts and it's not a good thing and it's not fun.
Yeah. So if you were in a relationship with a guy and he was doing all that, would you break up with him?
If he was messaging and commenting and sending money, probably. Yeah.
Would you break up with a guy if he was doing all that while you are in a serious relationship? Y'all been together for a year and shit.
Probably, but I probably also want reasoning.
But so you would like, I mean, he just wants to talk to other girls. I mean, that's his sexual strategy. He wants to talk to other girls. Like that's all.
Then yeah, probably bye.
You'd break up with him?
I think so, yeah.
So shouldn't men just break up with women then if they're gonna keep their dating market strategy going by having an open Instagram and posting pictures and getting comments and DMs and likes from men? That's your dating strategy. My dating strategy is to pursue. See, here's something about me and my relationship with my girl. She has about 100 followers on Instagram and a private account where she posts her crochet shit and her pets. Okay? She doesn't use her dating market strategy. There's no guys that pursue her. I don't worry about DMs. I don't worry about new followers. I don't worry about ass pics. I don't worry about anything like that. And in return, I don't do anything. I don't message girls. I don't like pictures. I don't comment on pictures. I don't send money. And I don't slide into DMs because that's my strategy. And if she's not using hers, I'm not going to use mine. The problem today in relationships is women are allowed to use their strategy, and then we demonize men for doing the same thing when they're in a relationship also. It should either be one way or the other, where we're both not using our strategy or we're both going to use our strategy. You get to have tons of options open. Let the guy have all of his options open too. Personally, I don't condone it. I would never, I don't even, I think it's simping when a guy's texting girls or liking pictures. I think all that's fucking lame and simping personally. I think it's low self-esteem behavior for a man. But I completely understand why guys doing it whenever their girl has their ass all out. I just understand it. What do y'all think is wait, let me go back to it.
So do we get to rebuttal that or what?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, go ahead. Hit back. Yeah, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Fine.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. I
Um,
just thought you didn't have anything because y'all like paused. My bad.
No. I mean, I think that I see your point. I think for me it's like it's not advertising. A lot of people and friends that I know, men and women, advertise themselves on social media as a form of expression. I
I agree
don't
with that.
Yeah. Um
I mean, that guy is just expressing himself. It feels really good to talk to a lot of girls. It feels really good, just like how it feels good to go to the gym. It feels good getting attention from other women too. Just like how when y'all go to the gym, I'm sure it feels good. Like if a guy is, maybe if a guy doesn't, maybe a guy comes up to you at the gym and he just says, "Hey, like, can I get your number?" And you're already in a relationship. You're not trying to talk to him or anything, but it felt good that a guy even said that because that's like, man, I must be hot or something because a guy actually, you're not cheating or anything. It's the same thing. Why can't the guy just sit there and pursue a bunch of women then? It's just to make him feel better whenever a girl says yes or something. He's probably not going to smash. No big deal.
I think it's just all about intention, I guess, really. So it's
Mhm.
like
If he's doing it, but he's not trying to smash a girl, it's okay.
I think the intention is questionable if the guy is doing that at all. And then I also just think it's important for the woman who's posting whatever to ask, like, what's my
Limit.
intent? for
Oh,
posting this stuff. And I also think that like what works for some people in your
isn't
situation.
it really easy though to be like, my intent is because I just love this video, or I just love this picture, this, and my ass looks really good in this one. That's it. I really like that. Don't you think it's pretty ridiculous how easy it is to just say, "Oh, my intent's nothing bad," and just throw your hands up in the air like I'm not doing anything wrong? It's really unfair. That's super unfair because, like, obviously it's not the same. Like I mean, he can go do the same thing, and you would be pissed as hell if he did that. This is one of those double standards that's really messed up. And there's double standards all throughout the world. Like, we like to get pissed off about them, but it's better to understand them and then try to fix it. Whereas like most people are just like, no, I don't care about your opinion. It's in my frame. It's how I want it to be, and that's fine if you're in a relationship where it's in your frame. But do you really care about your partner's happiness? Do you really care about making them comfortable? Because at the end of the day, like, that's the person who you're choosing to be with for the rest of your life. I would want them to know that I fully love them and I'm fully like devoting myself to them and I'm not giving myself to anybody else. Like, I don't know about you, but insecurities and stuff in relationships, like, I've learned along, like, shout out to Dr. David Buss, they're good things. Like, insecurities aren't bad. It's to protect the relationship. A lot of women will call guys insecure for certain things. It's like, that guy just loves you so much. He's just trying to protect the relationship. It's just crazy how we shame men for those things today. Like, I'm sure y'all have met a lot of really good guys and we're like, you know what? That's insecure. That's this. And it's like, what if that guy would have been a great fucking husband or boyfriend or something? And you just shamed him to oblivion and then made him run away, and like he has to go to another girl. The thing is, we will sometimes, if they're that guy, they're gonna find a girl that will fall into line and do whatever the fuck he wants. Because if he's a prize, she's gonna know it. Would y'all say that, like, who's the prize today? Do you think like a man is the prize or the woman's the prize? This will be our last question because we got to close up here in a minute, guys. Who's the prize today? Do you think men or women are the prize?
I would say both, just the same as I would say. I don't think there has to be one, just as I would say. I think the power dynamic that we were talking about earlier, I think it shifts and is constantly changing. I don't think that one has to be the leader always. I think it can be both at different times. And I think there's a lot of men and women that are alpha with a little beta and beta with a little alpha. Like I think it's a mix.
Oh, I think it can be opposite perfectly. Like, there's a lot of relationships that work amazing, and the woman is a super alpha. Like, she runs everything. But the problem is, you can't have two alphas in one house. So, like it's okay if she does that, but he needs to be a beta. And it's just, you can't both be up here because then you're going to argue over everything and always try to like out top each other and shit like that. That's the issue. So I definitely agree with you. What do you think?
I agree. It can be either one to like feed off of that. It
It-
can be the guy or the girl. I feel like power. I don't even like to use the word power, but like it can be whoever, I guess.
But men and women are definitely different, though, right? Like, would y'all say that we are the same, or are we different across the board?
Well, that's like a scientific answer that we are completely different.
Yeah. So if we're completely different, though, then we can show that like there's certain people that are better for certain skills. Like, a guy is a better leader. A guy is better at, he's more meant to do these certain things. So that's the only reason why I would argue that you want a guy who is the prize, because a guy who is the prize is going to also be a leader. And like I said, you don't have to choose these guys, but at the end of the day, I think that this is the guy that y'all want to pursue the most. Like, you keep pursuing it, I can tell, and that's like your issue, is because you keep pursuing stuff like that. And then you have to settle like she's doing, but why would you want to settle for, or not settle, but choose a guy that it's in like your frame? And like, whenever it comes to the prize thing, like, why I like to ask that is because, like, when it comes to creating life, who do you think creates more life, men or women? If there was an island with 100 men, an island with 100 women, 100 women had one man, the 100 men had one woman, which one creates more people?
I'm confused by the question. That's kind of
If there was an island with 100 women with one guy,
right.
and then an island with 100 men and one woman, which one's going to reproduce faster?
The one with all the women.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, so that means that one guy creates more life. He's a prize. Who puts the ring on the finger? It's the man. Who's the gatekeeper of relationships? It's the man. Women are gatekeepers of sex, but men are gatekeepers of relationships. So because of these things, men are the prize, and usually you have to jump through hoops or you have to do things to be with the right man. I'm not saying every man's the prize, but I'm just saying they should be treated like the fucking prize, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I would say like a big problem today is that we have it all propped up where women are the prize and women are like this. And I trust me, I love women. Like I think that y'all are incredible things. We're complementary, perfect together. But it's just the guy is going to be. If you want a guy that's successful, he's the prize, and you have to act like he's the prize. To close it out though, ladies, I just want to ask y'all, what did y'all think? And was there anything that like stuck out? So then I can like repeat it on another show. But yeah, what did you think of the show?
Thought it was fun for my first podcast. Anything that stuck out? I think it was interesting talking about like, is it better being single, not single, easier, harder? Yeah.
It's definitely it's today. It's definitely harder. That's the easiest way to put it, hands down. Do y'all think y'all's parents had it easier?
Oh yeah.
Way easier?
Hmm.
Are y'all jealous of your parents' relationships? Do they have good relationships?
My parents have a really beautiful relationship.
So you're
They're
like,
high school sweethearts.
yeah, that's the hardest thing to compete with. What about you?
My parents are divorced,
Huh.
and my dad now has a great relationship.
I came from a divorced family, and it was the best thing that ever happened because my parents remarried to like awesome people afterwards. It really just depends. What about you though? What did you think of the show?
I
Was
thought it
anything
was
special?
good. I liked the challenge and the controversy. Your point of view is interesting.
It's the opposite of most, for sure. I really want to say don't shoot the messenger. A lot of this stuff comes from evolutionary psychology books. I would highly suggest reading like Marty Hazelton's Hormonal. It's a really good book. Dr. Hector Garcia's Alpha God, Dr. David Buss, Evolution of Desire. All those authors are doctors and they're amazing. They're way better than I am. I never went to college. I would highly suggest reading those things and not taking my word for anything, honestly. I would love for y'all to come back. This was a really slow show because we didn't have like a bunch of girls or anything tonight. I would really want y'all to come back on like a Friday show when we have like a big panel and shit, so y'all can kind of see real how it really is. Sometimes it's a lot more hectic. We get into cheating more. We get into like a lot of other like deeper topics. I didn't honestly want to dig on y'all a lot. Like I thought y'all were really cool, and I didn't want to sit here and like. Sometimes the show can be controversial. I'm trying not to be like that anymore. I'm trying to be a lot more nicer and calm and cool. I feel like people listen better when they're not triggered. So I'm trying not to like trigger people and stuff. I really hope that y'all had a good time and like this one wasn't like it wasn't a triggering experience because like I said, I would love for y'all to really honestly come back. Um, thank y'all though. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Bassett. I appreciate you.
We got another chat here.
Oh yeah, let me see, Johnny. What's up, bro? Your dream man is watching this right now. What do you say to him? Good question. Your dream man is watching right now. What would you say to him?
What's up,
Where,
dude?
What's
where you
up, dude?
at?
Where you at?
Yeah,
Huh?
where you at?
Okay,
Hold up. Don't one of y'all have a boyfriend?
she does, but not the other one.
What? She said, "What's up?" Okay.
Yeah, she yeah. Get somebody go.
Don't let your boyfriend get in the way of your husband, right?
Yeah, literally. But no, thank y'all guys so much for all coming. What is today? Monday, guys. On Wednesday, I got an incredible show. I'm gonna reveal it. Last time he had to bail and he wasn't able to come, but I'm gonna go in and reveal it. Poor Man's Podcast is coming on Wednesday, guys. Huge deal. Probably gonna be one of our coolest shows because he's one of our biggest guests that's ever gonna come on the show. So big shout out to him if he's able to show up. Also, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I will be doing what's it called, guys? I need y'all to come support over there. I will be doing the War Efforts podcast at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, guys. He's all the way in Dubai. So I will be doing that one at 7 a.m. Try to come check it out. The War Efforts podcast. Wednesday, Poor Man's Podcast. Friday, we got Money Smart Guy, Patrick Bet David's right hand man coming on. That's going to be a crazy show, too, guys. He's one of the biggest deals in Dallas right now. So I'm really excited to have him on as well. And then also Sunday, I will be doing a debate with Andrew Wilson on Alex from Playing with Fire stream. It's going to be a debate on if you get married, you're beta. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. If you're a married guy in your relationship, I'm going to be calling y'all betas. Sorry. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming. Ladies, I really appreciate y'all for coming and being really good sports guys, especially since like the brand late and everything. I really appreciate y'all. But yeah, thank y'all guys. We will see y'all here in a couple tomorrow morning or a couple days, guys. Peace out.
What? Toodaloo, motherfucker.